Welcome back to my Warframe Beginner's Guide to the Galaxy. This is episode 3, and before I came into the game, I actually just wanted to show you guys the daily tribute system and talk about that a little bit. As you can see, if I mouse over day 5 here, I've got this little star symbol. The reason I'm only on day 3 is because I only log into this account when I'm doing stuff for this recording series. That'll change a little bit once we finish the first Junction. So for right now, I can get some endo, which is great. That'll help us level up our mods. But basically, every day you want to log in and at least collect your daily tribute, because when you hit certain benchmarks, particularly the ones with this little symbol on it, and you'll see them further up here as you get further up, there are unique rewards that you can only get from that daily tribute system. So we're going to go ahead and grab our endo here. It'll bring us into the game. Ordis is still silenced, of course. If you note, we do have new mail. I'm going to go check our inbox, and that mail is from a character we don't know named Teshin. The power of observation. A shrewd warrior can glean as much from watching a battle as from fighting one. Pupil, you appear to be such a warrior. Take this bounty and use it to bolster yourself for battles to come. This is a beacon that summons a boss that we cannot fight right now, so we're not going to use it, but I want to talk a little bit about how I got it, because that's something that you guys can do to give yourselves a little edge as a new player, and that is by linking my Twitch account to my Warframe account and watching some of the developer streams. They stream at least 4 times a week, and then they also sometimes do a dev stream that is sort of a separate thing. And every time you watch those events, if you're there for 30 minutes and your account is connected, you'll get a drop. Sometimes these drops are extremely useful. They can be things that allow you to better mod your frames. They can be things that allow you to build new companions. There's all sorts of really cool stuff that you can get from them. They also give away Prime Access, so right now the Prime Access is Titania Prime, so they give away one of those, each of those streams usually, and they give away Plat. So basically, it pays to just hang out in their streams, and it keeps you up to date on where the game is going, what kinds of things are underway, and just lets you get to know the developers in the process. And they do keep a reasonable connection with the community, so it's just a good idea to do that. So I wanted to just mention that to you guys real quick. I want to talk about another form of progression too, and that is this little thing right here, Nightwave Intermission. Now, what this is it's actually... Oh, now I regret that we don't have the audio on because we can't hear Nora's wonderful voice here. So, Nora Nightwave is a character in the game who basically runs a radio show. She tells you all these cool stories, and we can check some of those out by going to Tune In here. You can watch some of the older stories, like The Wolf of Saturn 6 or The Emissary. We're currently on Intermission 2. That's going to be ending on May 3rd, and a new story will come out. But for the time being, the reason we're looking at this is because there are essentially daily and weekly achievements you can do in here, and they give you reputation with the Nightwave. And as you hit 10,000 reputation, you level up through these tiers. And the reason that's important, folks, is because of things like this. 2 times weapon slots for hitting level 3 with Nightwave. So that's 30,000 rep. 200 Orokin Ducats. You can use these to buy things from a very special vendor named Baro Takir. Arlo's Flame, that's just a decoration for your ship, but if we scroll through here a little bit further, we can see things like Orokin Catalyst, which will double the available mod capacity on a weapon, or an Orokin Reactor, which will double the available mod capacity on a Warframe, Arcwing, or Companion. We also see things like mods. We've got Napalm Grenade in here. There's some cool ephemera that makes your walking look cool in Warframe. There's all sorts of different stuff in here. This is an affinity booster, so that'll let you level a little bit faster. We got Wild Frenzy, another mod. Here's a skin for your Orbiter. Here are some Forma, which will allow you to change those polarities we talked about that reduce the cost of mods. All sorts of goodies, including a Warframe slot at level 27. So you really want to be working on Nightwave while you're doing your other stuff, and a lot of these you can do in tune with that. So we don't actually have the mods to do corrosive damage, so we can't do that one right now. But we can kill 200 enemies, right? That's something we can do. And if we do so, we will complete Warning Shot, which will give us 1,000 reputation. We can deploy a glyph in a mission. I'll show you guys how to do that just so you can get your Nightwave credit for it. If we complete 3 rescue missions, we get 4,500. So a lot of this stuff will happen just while we're playing. And this is one of the most important things about Warframe, is that there are so many systems of progression that a lot of the time they just end up overlapping. And if they're overlapping like that, then we can progress in multiple ways at the same time, and that's what I kind of enjoy about the game. It's a very efficient progression. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be working on finishing our first junction, which is the Venus Junction. Once that is done, we're going to go ahead and maybe see where we're at on Mastery Rank, because we might be able to start talking about syndicates. If not, we'll be able to cover them next week. Or not next week, I guess it'll be this Thursday, but in the next episode. That's the goal, is to get to syndicates in the next episode. So we have a defense mission here. We already have access to the Junction. We just need to collect some more mods and then apply 4 mods to a single Warframe or weapon. So one of the tricks I'm going to show you guys here is this. Let's see who's closest to getting 4 mods on. So we've got 2 on our frame and we're out of capacity, basically. If we got another 4 capacity, we could actually meet the requirement. Actually, we don't even need another 4 capacity. If we got another 2 capacity on our frame, we could meet that requirement. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this flawed continuity on. It'll get its cost reduced by half because we do have the matching polarity to this slot. And then what we're going to focus on in our next mission is actually killing people specifically with Volt's abilities so that he can get those levels. The Paris is also probably really close. Yeah, it's not quite as close. We would need a little bit more, and we actually don't have a 4th mod for it anyway. I believe that Earth has more Grenier, so we're actually going to bring Bane of Grenier. Now, Bane mods are very interesting because they apply sort of on top. They double, essentially, the damage that they do. This is just going to give us a little bit of extra damage on Grenier. Okay, so that seems like a good, quick little change, and then we're going to head off and start doing some missions. Now, if we look at our Nightwave real quick, I believe we have do Sabotage, do Rescue. Okay, Sabotage and Rescue are the ones we're going to focus on for right now. So let's look for a Sabotage or Rescue mission here on Earth that we can do, preferably one that is in a new node that we have not unlocked yet. It does look like the majority of new nodes are going to be hidden behind Cetus here, which we're kind of saving for Zaya's quest. Now, we can't do that until we move forward a little bit further, so I think we'll just end up doing this defense mission. There are some open squads here, so hopefully we end up joining them. Yeah, Venus Junction is our only objective right now. There's also the Scarlet Spear up there, but that is not a new player thing. There are a lot of events that cycle through. Some of them are not really intended for new players. Like, we could go try to do the Scarlet Spear, but the reality is it's not going to go super well because we don't have very well-ranked frames or weapons or anything like that. In most cases, we'll just end up holding back our team and we might actually irritate somebody or whatnot. Okay. So we're going to be running a little bit more than we're sliding and bullet jumping here just because we want to build up our charge. And the reason we want to build up our charge is because we're trying to kill enemies with our Volt abilities. Alright, defense is starting. We need to protect this Warframe cryopod. Hello, fellow Warframe. That really isn't a Warframe, though. If it is, it's one I do not recognize. Okay, where is this enemy at? Hello, friend. Bye, friend. So we got 1 out of 200 kills for killing, or warning shot there. And you're, aw. It's okay, we wanted to shock him anyway. I don't know why I was shooting. And that's why I was shooting, because we're going to run out of energy eventually here. When we're out of energy, we can use our bow, but otherwise we would prefer to use our energy to kill enemies. Now, the way defense works is that you do waves, and every 5 waves you get rewarded. There is a cycle of rewards, and if you look up on the wiki how that works, and I'll actually link the defense mission wiki page, most defense missions cycle through A, B, C for reward tiers. There's essentially 3 different reward tiers. The first 5 waves you will get an A reward, the second 5 waves you will get an A reward, the third 5 waves you'll get a B, and then the fourth 5 waves you'll get a C. So that's important to know if you're trying to run a defense mission for a certain reward. That being said, once you do that, it actually restarts. So after the 4th one, it'll be an A again, and then another A, and then a B, and then a C. So in most cases, if you're just trying to go for a C reward, you really only want to do 4 waves and then bounce, unless you are super geared and you're just kind of trying to challenge yourself, or you're doing it with some friends and you're all kind of trying to push it and see how far you can make it. So we are out of juice here, so while we're running around to build up our charge, we're really only going to be getting that extra damage on our bow. Which is unfortunate, because it would be... I love the way they fly back when you hit them with this. Hello, energy! So we do want to keep our eye out for those energy orbs, because those are going to allow us to charge up our Volt attacks here. Hello, friend. Get electrocuted. Okay. 1 less Grenier to deal with. I mean, the pod has a shield, so unless you're really, really messing up, you should be fine. Taking my time here, getting my headshots with the bow just because I can. Really not under a ton of pressure here. I don't think we even need the headshots, though. We kind of just kill everything in one shot because of this being the starting planet. Alright, hello friend. The enemies will also get stronger as the waves come, so if you decide to stick around after 5 and do another 5, you will start to notice that it's not quite the same as it was before. I don't know that they actually level that much between waves, but I believe every 5 they jump a little bit. Well, that was a shot in an uncomfortable place, was it not? We are still out of juice, though, which is unfortunate, because we would like to be shocking people with Volt here. Oh, that was an energy orb. Okay, so we picked up another energy here. That means we can shocky somebody. Where's he at? What? Where is he? Oh, he's right here. Hello, friend. Okay, so we're gonna keep on shocking them. If I hold tab here, I can see what progression we've made on our weapons and things. Now, what you're gonna notice is we're very close to hitting 5 with Volt, but watch what happens when we hit rank 5. You won't actually see the rank up notification on screen, and there's a reason for that, and I'm gonna explain it. Just so that we can understand it and know how that works going forward, because otherwise that can be slightly confusing. Now, you do get a little bit of affinity on everything as long as you're fighting and killing stuff, so while we're not necessarily shocking as many enemies as I'd like to, in order to get those levels on Volt faster, it's kind of okay. Wow, I am just not a good shot. There, I shot him in the ankle. Works. We got it. Pick this guy off. And I know there's an energy orb over here, so we're gonna grab it. Still rank 4. Okay, I was looking at that because I want to show you guys the interesting thing about that. Now we're rank 5, but you'll notice that we did not get the rank up notification. Now there is a reason for that. In every mission, you can go down and self-res yourself 4 times. The problem is that every time you do that, you actually lose a little bit of the affinity that you've built up. So it's not telling us we hit rank 5 in Volt because we haven't hit rank 5 in Volt yet. We've hit rank 5 with Volt if we do not die and res 4 times. If we do die and res 4 times right now, we will actually not be rank 5, which is why it's not telling us that we hit that. Now what that means is that when you're in missions, preferably you want to be running with other people, because if you go down and they help you back up, it actually does not cost you any affinity at all. And that also means that if you go down in a group mission, you don't need to feel bad about it, you don't need to try to insta-res yourself and cheat yourself out of a whole bunch of affinity. You just need to wait and be patient and hope someone picks you up. And if they don't pick you up, then you can use your affinity to res yourself. But you really want to avoid that if at all possible, because it will slow your progression. There we go. Getting a little better with the bow. I don't use bow weapons very often, but when I do, after a while I start to get a little more comfortable with them. You do have to kind of account for the arrow's flight time a little bit, which is less of a problem with lasers and things like that. Awesome. Okay, so we are on to wave 3. Our Volt has ranked up 1 time. We need him to rank up 1 more time in order for us to be able to get the 4 mods. However, we have not recovered a mod yet, so that's also an issue. We still need to collect a few mods before we can move on to the Junction. If we don't get those mods here, then what we'll do is we'll probably just look for an extermination mission or something of that nature, so that we can kind of run around and break some containers and hopefully grab a couple of new player mods. Hello. Goodbye. Also, bows at point blank range are fun. You also don't need to... I stuttered there a little bit. You don't need to charge the bow entirely. You do get more damage if you charge it fully, but you don't have to charge it fully to fire it. So if I wanted to, I could just find one of these enemies and just quickly pot shot, and it looks like we're actually killing them with the pot shot, so we don't really need to charge it up. We do have 50 energy now, though, so shocky. Oh, it didn't kill him. Okay, it did kill him. So let's build a little bit of charge here before we go and shock this guy, so we can ensure that he actually dies from it. Hello, friend. Where you trying to run to? Okay, and he's dead. And as you can see, we're getting a lot of Nightwave progress already. I don't know why I charged that up. We already determined we don't need to charge our shots here. So we are 60 out of 200 on enemies killed for warning shot. And our Mark 1 Paris has just leveled up to 5 as well. At this rate, I don't know if our frame or our primary weapon will actually be where we need for the 4 mod requirement for the Junction first, but it should definitely happen today, which is awesome. Come on, guys, let's go. Generally, each wave takes about a minute in defense missions. There's also survival missions, which are very similar to defense missions, except for they're timed. And instead of protecting a point, you are essentially trying to gather life support to keep yourself alive in a toxic environment. Now, enemies will drop that life support, but you can also get it from canisters that are spawned in. You don't really want to gather the canisters in those missions unless you have to, though. You would prefer to be killing enemies at a rate fast enough that it is supplying you with all of your survival needs. And we do have enough energy. We're up to 70 enemies for our Nightwave now, and we do actually have the... Oh, well, we already spent the energy, so we're working on that. Volt is getting there, but he's not quite there yet. Hello, friend. Oh, how did I... Really? You're just a wascally rabbit, aren't you? Bouncing around when I'm trying to shoot him, like, the arrow went straight between his legs. Hello, friend. In the... Okay. See, that was great. Y'all saw that, right? The arrow carried him across the way and just stuck him to a wall. I love some of the animations in this. Like, they really just make me chuckle. It's part of the fun of playing it. And there we go. Kill him with our lightning bolt to try to get a little bit more affinity. We're pretty good on affinity right now. We're about a quarter of the way there with Volt, just from doing what we've been doing. And now it tells us that we've reached rank 5, because now even if we res a whole bunch of times, it won't matter. We also have access to Electric Shield now for the first time. Ooh, and it gave us a bunch of energy, so... Okay. We did get a mod from this. We got Pressure Point, which is a really, really nice melee mod. Let's stick around. Let's stick around. We'll do a little bit more of defense here. The reason why is because we now have a little more energy, so we can work up Volt a little bit. Plus, we got one mod, so if we get, like, one more mod, I think that we meet all of the requirements for our Junction. We've also kind of cleared every mission that is outside of the gate that is Cetus. And Cetus is something that's going to take a second to kind of cover and talk about, so I was hoping to do that more in the next episode if we can. We should be able to do the Junction very easily after this, and I need to actually use my abilities here so that we can scoop this energy orb and use our abilities some more. Where are you guys at? Boom! So we could show the shield off now, but I think... Well, let's do it. Let's do it. So let's see. We just shoot there. You see we do about 228 damage. Now let's find an enemy and put our shield up here. Okay, shield is up. 371, 392. That one was only 202. So you can see the shield does kind of increase the damage you do, and it's worth noting that the shield is at level 1 now, so we're not seeing as much effect as we will when it's level 3. I wonder if we get extra affinity for killing things through the shield, though. We probably do. We don't have the energy to shield here, so we'll just shock him. Works fine. Can you not stab that, please? Thanks. Sorry, just checking our affinity. We're almost to rank 6 with Volt, which means we should meet our Equip 4 mods requirement. So we are at the point where if we get one more mod here, we can do our Junction, which is what we're after. Look at that. It just carried him all the way across the gap. That was amazing. That was just amazing. Like, they just go, oh, look, and there's another mod. It's a Pressure Point. So now we have met our mod requirement as far as picking up mods, and we also should be able to equip the required mods as soon as we finish this mission with Volt. Looking very, very good right now, folks. We should be able to knock out this Junction. The Junction is a very interesting thing in and of itself. It will give us access to some cool things that we can kind of talk about a little bit once we get there. But for right now, we're just trying to find the last enemy in this defense mission, who is apparently hiding somewhere. There he is. Oh, I whiffed that. Now I got him. Is there another? There is. He's right here. So normally when you get down to just a few enemies, it'll show you like a red icon where the enemy is hiding so that you don't get stuck waiting for them to come out, like if they end up stuck on a wall or something. Because sometimes Grineer are not the smartest enemies in the world. Looks like there were actually quite a few left in this wave, though. Well, there were. Now there's a grenade going out, and there is a Grineer on the other side. Oh, come on. Alright. Shocky, shocky. Did I whiff that? I think I totally whiffed that shock. We are at 110 out of 200 for our warning shot. Nightwave. Did that Grineer just jump? I didn't know the Grineer could actually climb those wires. Actually, why am I even doing that? We can just melee them. I'm like trying to use the bow here. Meleeing is just as fast. I think the reason I was working the bow up was so that we'd have something else that could potentially equip 4 mods. But it doesn't look like we're going to need that because Volt is ranking up here relatively quickly. And now because this is one of the last few enemies, we did get a red indicator of where they were at. Alright, done. One thing that we can talk about is with the melee weapons. If you look at the bottom right corner, you can see how many strikes you've made recently. So as we hit enemies, that strike counter above the word Skana will start to go up. Right now it just says 1. We'll use this a little more on the next wave so I can talk about how combo counters work. But essentially, every 7 strikes, I believe it is, the combo counter goes up, and when the combo counter goes up, your next heavy attack will do more damage. It's part of the melee system, so there we're at 4 strikes. Now we're at 5. If we can find another enemy before our combo counter falls off, we can get to 6. No, we're back to 1. So the problem with that is, yeah, you need to have enemies kind of grouped up to be able to do it. You have to really quickly move between groupings of them and attack. So we're at 4 now. Can we get a few more? Come on, guys. Where are you at? They're not wanting to group up for us here, which is unfortunate. Oh, there's 5, 6. I just need 1 more. Where are you Grineers at? There's 9. Okay, I guess not. I thought it was 7, but it might be more than that to go up to the next combo count. And I just blew whatever combo count we had there by using a heavy attack. Alright, well, we will probably have an opportunity to show that off more in survival missions, because in survival missions, enemies tend to group up a lot more. Went for the bow there on that shielded enemy because the bow does have good puncture damage, which means that it will go through sort of armor and shields and things like that. That's also, actually, that's based on punch through, but puncture damage is something slightly different. I always get those two mixed up, though. It's really not that big of a thing. You'll sort of understand the damage types and stuff as you move forward through the game. But for right now, know that there are 3 individual damage types that most weapons have. They are impact, puncture, and slash. Slash damage, when it stacks on enemies, will cause a bleed that will bleed their shield and their health. I believe it ignores armor, though. There were some recent changes to statuses, so that's something we can talk about more in a future video. Puncture, I want to say, reduces the amount of damage that they do to you. Impact staggers them or knocks them down, but I believe Impact was recently changed to only stagger them. And I think if you do enough impact procs, it actually staggers them to the point where you can do a melee execute on them, which is really cool. Okay, we have 50 energy here, so let's look for some people to shocky. Alright, there's 1. Can we get another one? Give me a Grineer to shocky. Thank you for volunteering. We accept your sacrifice. Okay, we'll take him out, and Volt is very, very close to the rank we need him to be. We should easily have the Volt rank we need by the time we get out of here. Alright, done there. We have 1 more wave to go before we're out of here. And our cryopod is taking a little bit of damage here, so we do want to be kind of careful. It's not taking enough to be considered serious, because it does have a shield that recharges over time. But it's definitely something you want to keep an eye on, because depending on the amount of rounds you've done, you may actually be at risk to lose your cryopod if you're not maintaining some cover on it. We also don't really have like we're not Frost or anything like that. Frost is a frame that has a giant orb that slows enemies that you can just put around your cryopod to protect it, and it'll keep enemies from kind of getting in and attacking it too quickly before you clear them off. There is a nice little lightning bolt there, and Volt's at rank 6 as long as we don't die. So as long as we get out of here without dying now, we should be able to go straight into our junction after this. Excuse me, sir, can you stop charging with that shield? Thank you. Okay, 2 of them up here, but 1 of them ran away. Smart Grineer. Alright, there we go, knock that one off. It does look like there's another one back here somewhere. Hello? There he is. And he's gone. 160 out of 200 enemies for our Nightwave. We have just completed Wave 9. We may actually need to do 1 more, or that might be it. No, we need to do 1 more. I usually just go until it pops up the rewards, to be honest, guys. Like, once you've committed, that's really all you can do. If we were to die 4 times right here, we would fully fail the mission, so you really don't want to do that. You do still keep your rewards that you got for reaching, you know, each 5 point, but you lose all your affinity, you lose all the items you got as drops. Like, you really just don't want to push it unless you're sure you can do it. And I mean, part of that is the fun of the game as well, because like you can limit test a little bit where you're like, you know, last time I made it 10 rounds, let's see if we can make it 15 this time. And you'll know too, like if you're going down a lot, then you're probably overdoing it a little bit and you might need to come back later when you've got some better mods. But if you're not having to self-res and you and your team are holding together just fine, then it's not really a big deal. You can probably go a few more rounds. One thing I will warn against is if you're not sure, do be careful, especially if other teammates decide not to stay. So I was on my main account the other day, I was actually doing a defense mission with a friend of mine, and we made it to like, I want to say wave 15, and we had 2 other people with us, and the 2 other people pulled out, and we were like, oh, it'll be fine, you know, we'll do fine. Problem is, we were both leveling stealth frames that didn't have a ton of AoE clearing, and we just got overwhelmed and ended up losing a lot of rewards and affinity and things. So basically, don't get overconfident. Just be cognizant of the fact that people are leaving that were helping you, so you may not want to stick around and give it a test, because you could end up losing all of the affinity and things that you gained. It is a risk versus reward system. Honestly, most things in Warframe are kind of a risk versus reward system, which is not a bad thing. I think that's kind of one of the funner aspects of it. Okay, so and my fiance is in the background right now, and I guarantee you the first thing that went through her mind when I said it's one of the funner aspects of it is that funner isn't a word. Okay. Volt is rank 6, our Paris is rank 6, the Lado's rank 3, and our Skana is rank 6. We did get 2 new Pressure Point mods out of there. Pressure Point is a good mod, we didn't need 2 of them. Having doubles doesn't really help with anything. And now we do qualify for our Mastery rank test, so I think what we'll do here is we will do our Junction and our Mastery rank test, and then that'll be it for this episode. So, first of all, we need to go over here to Volt. We do have 2 capacity now, so we can put on this flow. Actually, we don't have a redirection on, so I'm going to put on this flawed redirection. Our tools shape us, so we did get an achievement for that because we, put 4 mods on. But more importantly, our Junction should now be open. And I think what we'll do is we'll do the Mastery rank test first, and then we'll go do the Junction. So what a Mastery rank test is we have now gained enough affinity on our profile to raise our Mastery rank, and I'll show you guys kind of what that does. Did we actually craft another weapon yet, or... I think we bought a blueprint, but we didn't actually start the crafting of it yet. Yeah, we didn't start the crafting of it yet. That's okay. There's actually a weapon that we can buy depending on how many credits we have. We have plenty of credits. Okay, so we're going to come over here, and we're going to pick up a weapon called the Lado. Now, this is the pistol that we chose not to get. Oh, we already own one. Excellent. So I want to show you guys something real quick. If we swap over to our Lado weapon... Oh, that's because that's the one we're actually leveling. My bad. I wonder if the kunai is also something you can buy. If not, we can always buy another Lado just to make the point. But let's see. Let's see if you can buy a kunai. Can you buy a Mark 1 kunai? You can indeed. Perfect. So we're going to purchase a Mark 1 kunai here. We'll probably just use that to grind up affinity and sell later. But if we go take a look at that kunai right now, then what you'll notice is... At rank 0 right now, we have access to 0 capacity. Now we're going to swap this back to our Lado, and we're going to go do our Mastery rank test. Okay, so when we complete our Mastery rank test, we get 1,000 additional reputation available, plus 5,000 daily focus limit. You won't know what that is until much later. Plus 1 base mod capacity. That was what I was kind of pointing out. And plus 50 voids tray storage. You won't know what that is until later, but that's okay. We can practice or just begin the test. I'm just going to begin the test. You're welcome to practice as much as you need to before you do it. Definitely don't rush yourself into it, but the first Mastery rank test is pretty easy. A Tenno must be a master of all their weapons. Prove yourself with your primary weapon. So just using the Mark 1 bow here, we need to kill waves. And this is actually going to be easier than the defense mission, more than likely, because it's not quite as long. Wow, I guess we do actually need to charge up shots here. Oh, come on. Alright, they're gone. You'll notice we actually don't have access to any of our other weapons, though, or any of our Warframe abilities. Yeah, we only need to kill 5 enemies here, so this should be very easy. You'll notice that with headshots, these guys do go down in 1 shot, so we're going to be working towards those so that we can get through this relatively quickly. Hello, friends. Okay, wave 2 is completed. And we made it within our wave time limit. We have 2 minutes and 59 seconds for the next wave. Now, if we fail this test, we actually cannot retake it until the next day. So that is something to keep in mind. That's a good reason to practice if you're not sure of yourself. But I'm reasonably sure we're going to complete this just fine. Alright, he's gone. He's gone. One enemy remaining, and we have plenty of time. Mainly I'm looking at the time here more than the enemies. The enemies are very, very easy. There we go, we're done. Mastery rank 1 completed. Formidable performance. This test is now complete. So we get a new little symbol, which you'll notice when we hit escape, and we can look at like our overall profile level. Now instead of it just being a line, it's going to be that little copper lotus-y shape right here. And if we go ahead and equip our kunais now, and we go to upgrade them, they have 1 base capacity. So we can actually put a 1-cost mod. Unfortunately, actually that does mean we can use a mod. We could use Hornet Strike on them if we wanted to. Now what you'll also notice though is if I go to, say, the Paris here, I still have a capacity of 6. Well, why is that? That is because the way that the base capacity works is it doesn't actually increase the base capacity available. It increases when that base capacity is available. So you will start out with that 1, and until you reach rank 2, you won't actually see the capacity go up. Now what that does do, though, is it makes it so that when you're affinity grinding new weapons, you can kind of use stronger weapons from the start. So one thing that I like to do is you want to get your mastery rank to about like 4 or something, and then just keep a damage mod that is unleveled that costs 4 that you can put on each weapon that you're trying to level up. And that'll actually make leveling those weapons up a lot easier, so that's something you should keep in mind. You can then also have a separate version of that mod that you raise up to max rank for like your really good, already ranked up weapons. We should have access to our Venus Junction now. We do. The rewards from this junction are credits, the Fury Blueprint, or the Furus Blueprint, whichever you prefer to call it, the Northwind mod, the Stormbringer mod. Both of those are excellent damage mods and should allow us to build a corrosive weapon. And then a Taxon Blueprint. Taxon will be our first companion, and some salvage. So we're going to go do this right now. I told you guys junctions are a little bit different. The reason that junctions are a little bit different is instead of fighting a bunch of sort of pushover enemies like the Grenier, you will be fighting another frame. And the goal is to beat that frame to unlock access to the next series of planets. Our arrow was a little glitched there. That was interesting. So who are we facing here? I can't remember who the first frame is. And I can't tell from here, so I guess we'll find out when we open this. We're confronting the Spectre. Oh, that's Rhino. Okay. So this is going to be interesting. I'm going to put our wall down here and just go for headshot. Well, I guess that did it. Yeah. So that was tough. Bye, Rhino. Thanks for the challenge. I'm very, very glad that we took Volt, because that dropping of the wall was very, very powerful. So now we come up here, we activate this console, and that should unlock our next set of planets, or our next planet, rather, which I believe is Venus. Yeah, because this was the Venus Junction. Sorry, guys, I'm so used to playing on, like, my main account that I'm forgetting the order and things. But that's fine. Now that we've unlocked this junction, we've gained a mastery rank, we're really starting to get into the core of what Warframe is as a game. We now have North Wind, which is... Okay, well you just take me out of there while I'm trying to explain, game. Okay, so we now have North Wind, which is a melee mod that adds cold damage. We have a rifle mod that adds electricity, so we won't be able to combine these to make corrosive like I thought. But we will be able to start putting some elemental damage on our weapons, which will help with some various things. Cold damage, I believe, slows the enemy's attack speed down, and electricity has the chance to stun them. We also got the Fury Blueprint, or the Furus Blueprint. I guess it's Furus, and the dual-wielded one would be a Fury. Anyways, so the Furus Blueprint and the Taxon Blueprint, and we can potentially go build those now. You'll see that it now gives us access to Venus. So we have all these new missions that we can do. Fortuna is a location we will be working our way towards, and we have some new enemies. We'll now be facing off with the Corpus, who we have faced once before in the tutorial, but the majority of enemies on Earth are Grenier. Okay, so let's back out of here. And if we look at our Nightwave, I don't think we completed anything yet. Oh, I forgot to show you guys how to do the graffiti. We'll have to do that in the next episode. Essentially, what you do is you go into your equipment here, and you go over to the gear wheel thing, which is this, and you can just put whatever you want in here. And we're going to go for our glyph prism. And then when you're in mission, you can hold Q to bring that up and click it, and that'll spray it. If you guys are wanting to do that to get that Nightwave, now you know how to do it. It's very, very simple. That being said, let's go ahead and take a look at our new mods real quick and see if we can fit those on there to get a little bit more oomph in our weapons. So let's take a look at damage real quick with this. So Serration gives us plus 10% damage. If we take that off, we go down to 230 damage. Stormbringer gives plus 15% of your base damage, but as electricity damage. So if we move this up, now you'll see we get 264, which is actually more than we were getting with that Serration. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Now we don't want to level it up at all, because if we do, we will go past our current max capacity. And then we'll switch back to our Leto here, and make sure that we throw our new damage mod onto our melee weapon potentially, or we could just use a regular pressure point. I think we'll go with the North Wind here, because once again that should give us more damage in theory. So there we go. No, actually it looks like it gives us less. Go figure. So that is going to put us at 144, and that would put us at 138, but it does also add elemental status proc potential. That being said, our status chance right here is only 16%. That's the chance when you hit that you will actually apply a status, so it being so low means we're probably better just going for base damage. Alright, that is going to be it for this one, folks. Hopefully the next one we will finish gaining a little bit more MR. I mean, honestly, how close are we? If you ever want to know how close you are to your next MR, you can just go to your profile here. 6,000 affinity away. That means if we cap out 2 weapons or a Warframe, we will actually be at our next mastery rank. So it might be a little bit longer. I think what I'm going to do is, now that we've opened up this first junction, folks, I'll do a little bit of playing off camera so that we can get ready to talk about some of the new stuff you're going to be finding. Now what I won't do is I won't like unlock a whole bunch of new nodes or anything crazy like that. I'll probably just run the nodes that are available to me to get those weapons built up and maybe get us a few more mods. So you won't miss out on anything, but at the same time I can progress the account a little bit so that we can talk about new stuff that you'll be doing. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to go ahead and give us a like or subscribe to the channel, and we will see you next time. Bye!